We've canvassed opinion from some of the sport's biggest names to try and find out what their advice would be to a young player thinking of turning professional. Do they advise staying in education and then focusing on snooker, or do they believe that the sport is now so competitive that the earlier you give it 100% of your time, attention and energy, the better chance you've got of making it on tour?
I left school at 13, stopped my education and pursued my snooker life, gave up everything else.
The last words that my head teacher said to me was, good luck getting a job when you're not playing snooker. I was like, what do you mean by that? He goes, because you'll never make it.
I left school relatively young, but I did find later in life that I needed to educate myself. So, you know, it became hard work later. So,
but I ended up, my mum was interviewing Dickie Davies because my mum was saying that my son needs his education. He shouldn't be leaving school. At the end of the day, snooker can only be a game. He needs his education. And I've still got it in tape somewhere, and I'll sometimes watch it and have a laugh about it.
Being 14, I never went to school for the very last year, took no exams, just to try and focus on snooker. Unfortunately enough for me, I managed to break through and give myself a good career, but there's no guarantees nowadays that that can happen.
19 years of age, you fought like a real man out there.
Wait till everybody stops. Yeah, I'll fire one down.
If I could turn back the clock, I'd still have that last year at school, do all my education and give myself some kind of exams and some degree to fall back on.
If you want to be the best sports person in your field, you have to give up everything else. There can be no safety net.
A Beijing Academy now is producing some great stars, and some of those guys are actually continuing their education.
I don't see why they would need an education, because they'll have all the self-belief that they need to go out there and do the job.
Just go for it, and if it doesn't work out, you can go back to your studies, you can go back to college, or you can go back to do it. But I think when you're younger, I think you've got to grasp a chance.
To be a great champion, you have to be totally focused. You have to be totally disciplined. And you know, that discipline may come from being educated and being disciplined at school as well. So who knows where it goes? Everybody's different.
If Ron O'Sullivan enters a World Championship, he's installed, probably rightly in some people's eyes, as a favourite to win it. So there you go. He's turning 40.
So with that winning tournaments still now, you've got John Higgins, he's 40 odd. Stuart Bingham, he's what, 65?
Yeah, I am quite careful because I mean, every time we're out there in China, it's not as if we're just going out there like sightseeing and visiting. You're out there for a tournament.
It's up to us to try and get involved more, and they've come to us for years. The Chinese come to England all the time. So when we go, it's important that we get into their culture. Stephen Hendry, Ronnie O'Sullivan, Mark Selby, Neil Robertson are the hardest practicers. They're also very good, but they are the hardest workers. They put more practice time than anybody else. The best coaches in the world take your talents, take what you're best at, and enhance those things. They make those things better.
At the end of the day, I think when the top players get to a certain position in the game, they've got there, probably by themselves.
The last words that my head teacher said to me was, good luck getting a job when you're not playing snooker. I was like, what do you mean by that? He goes, because you'll never make it.
If I could turn back the clock, I'd still have that last year at school, do all my education and give myself some kind of exams and some degree to fall back on, because